Hey, how's it going everybody? Welcome to Suzon Spice and Everything Nice. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Michelle's little brother, James, and today I'll be hosting this video. In this video, we're going to be making Pikliz. I like Pikliz because it's super simple to make. It's spicy, crunchy, and you get to refrigerate and pull it out pretty much whenever you want, which is pretty amazing. Super convenient. We're going to be making this dish from fresh ingredients, none of which are pre-packaged. It's going to be a bit more work, separate from previous videos. We're going to be grinding down the ingredients just a bit more to make it a bit more fine, but it'll definitely be worth it in the end. That's all I have to say here. We're going to jump into the next scene. All right, now we're going to head into our ingredients. So first we have cabbage, lime, onions, habaneros, carrots, salt, and of course, vinegar. All right, now the list of ingredients that we just covered, we're gonna provide a list on the website. You can check it out there. We're gonna throw the link inside the description box. We're not gonna be providing any exact measurements. Depending on how much you wanna make, you get to balance it out proportionally there. Just make sure you don't put too many habaneros, otherwise it's on you. But that's it, yeah, pretty much just eyeball it. So, step one, cabbage. So what we're gonna need for this is a knife, of course, a grater. We're gonna be using the large gratings on this one, and of course your cabbage. What we're gonna do, we're gonna cut the cabbage into fourths, laterally and linearly. But we're gonna keep the stem in place. We're gonna want the stem in place so that when we're actually grating it, it doesn't fall apart. It's better to use a small cabbage as opposed to a larger one, just because this is gonna give you lots of Pikliz, and depending on how much you're making this for, you don't need this much. All right, so you're gonna wanna cut your cabbage all the way in half. I loosened it up a bit. You're gonna wanna cut it in half through the stem. Ooh, that was close. And once you have your halves, you're gonna want to do the same exact thing. But for each quarter of the cabbage, you're gonna want to have a small piece of the stem attached. So when you're grating it, it just makes it a lot simpler and easier to work with. All right, so I'm gonna start with the small piece. It's easier to work with, and we don't need that much for now, but you pretty much just get one corner and you start grating it. Start at the top, work your way down, pick it up, and redo it. All right, so once you get to about this part, too close to the stem, you pretty much wanna throw that out. You're done with it. And you're gonna do the other slices. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and pick this up. Got my nice little pyramid cabbage. It's beautiful. And we're gonna finish that off. This is pretty much how you want it to look. All right, so now that we're done with that step, we're going to fill our cabbage bowl with water. You're gonna wanna make sure you do not skip this step. So you're gonna wash your cabbage, and you're gonna get rid of that raw cabbage taste. Otherwise, you'll regret it. All right, so we filled it with water. Make sure you use cold water, not hot water. But we're gonna leave this off to the side as we work with our other ingredients. All right, for the next step, we're going to peel our carrots and we're gonna wash them off, and we're going to grate them the same way we did the cabbage. All right, so we peeled our carrots, cut the end off, cut the head on, for extra stability. We're gonna use the large grating, again, like the cabbage, and we're gonna start grating our carrot. All right, so this is our last carrot. We need 3 for this, but this is pretty much the end product. I'm just gonna scoop this up, put it into our bowl, and save it for later. Our next step, we're going to be dicing our onions. And here are your diced onions. So for our next step, we're going to be juicing our limes. A lot of people like to use just vinegar when making Pikliz, but we like to add a little bit of lime juice for that extra hint of flavor. A quick tip as well, before you start juicing your limes, roll it out on a flat surface really hard, just so you get a bit more juice out of it. I'm gonna go right ahead to juicing them. Just cut it in half. If you have one of these squeezers, they come in handy. Otherwise, you just hand squeeze it into a cup of whatnot. But, and here's our last one. Bam. That's our lime juice. All right, so for our next step, we're going to be dealing with our habanero peppers. This is gonna be the best part. So first and foremost, you're gonna wanna cut off these stems. You're not gonna wanna eat that. Depending on how hot you want your Pikliz to be, you can add more or less habanero peppers. We're gonna use 7. Same goes with our salts. We're gonna be using 2 tablespoons of salt for the amount of Pikliz that we plan on making. That being said, for your habanero peppers, we're going to be adding it and blending it into a blender here. We're gonna be adding some of the lime juice along with the salt to grind it down to a nice fine paste. But if you want, you could just slice these up to really thin slices and add it directly to your cabbage and your carrots and whatnot. That's that, we're gonna get into it. All right, so you cut off your stem, you cut it in half just to make it easier on the blender. I would recommend wearing gloves if you're dealing with these, just because you don't want to get it all over your hands and accidentally touch your face. That's gonna suck. I'm gonna cut these up. Again, if you want your Pikliz to be a bit more spicy, feel free to add more peppers. 7 is good for what we're dealing with. Notice that we're keeping our seeds in. We're not removing them because we want to incorporate that heat into our final. And for the salt, we're going to start with 2 tablespoons. So depending on how it tastes, we'll add more, but 2 tablespoons is a safe amount to begin with. And then we're gonna add just a little bit of our lime juice. All right, we're gonna close that up. Blend. All right, and we're just about good. This is our end results. All right, last and final step. So as you can see, we moved our cabbage to a larger bowl. So once we start adding all our other ingredients in, we have a bit more space to work with. Off camera though, we did wash and drain our cabbage multiple times, again to get rid of that raw cabbage taste. Make sure you do that because you do not want that taste in the end. But essentially, we have our cabbage, our onions, our carrots, our lime juice, and our habanero peppers all grinded up. So we're gonna mix this all in. We're going to top it off with a bit of extra salt if need be. And again, at the very end, we'll be adding some vinegar also if need be. So we can go ahead and start adding everything into our bowl. Start with the onions. Just pour it all right in. Carrots. Lime juice, spread that evenly. And then our habanero peppers. All right. So you're just gonna mix this over and over again. It's gonna be let me use my larger spoon actually. All right, now we're going to add a splash of vinegar to kind of balance everything out and make sure everything is covered in some liquid. And you're gonna start mixing it again. All right, so now that we're done mixing it, we're going to take a taste, see if we need to add a bit more salt. See how it is. Yeah, we could use just a dash more salt. Sprinkle it on. Again, like we mentioned earlier, just winging it. So add the salt and we start mixing it up again. Taste it again. Let's see if it's good. Yeah, that's perfect, just the way I want it. end results. All right, so we're gonna start transferring this over to our bowl. I ate a bit of this off camera, I'm not gonna lie, so if I sniffle a bit, that's my bad. But essentially, we're gonna add it to our bowl to store in our fridge. I'm gonna take a bit and try to scoop up the juices with it. Oops. Yeah, obviously this jar is not gonna hold all of this. We've got a couple others that we'll be pouring this into. You want to add in your Pikliz, and then transfer some of those juices over as well. But you are going to want to put a bit more Pikliz to kind of keep it as compact as possible. Ideally, you want to keep this in your fridge to sit overnight, so the cabbage can kind of soak in all these juices. But I'm not going to lie, usually when we finish something like this, it disappears the day of, so depends. All right, this is just about perfect right here. All right, and there you have it. Fresh little jar of homemade Pikliz. If you like this video, don't forget to like it, subscribe, and share it. That's all. Thanks for watching. Hey, how's it going, everybody? I gotta get that out. I'm just, you don't have to pause it. All right, so now let's head into our ingredients. So first, we're gonna have cabbage. Is that lime or lemon? Lime or lemon. Then we have onions. All right, so for the first cut, you're gonna want to go straight through the middle. It is really tough. Make sure you watch your fingers. Yeah, this is really tough. This is super tough. All right, after you get to that point. I'm supposed to be babysitting right now, and Marshall's just making me do all the work for a video. Quick tip, before you start juicing your lemons, you can roll them out really hard on a flat surface. I said lemon? You said lemon. Oh. And you just repeat that for every lemon. No. Why? Why? All right, so we peeled. I just dropped my carrot. We're gonna be using our large grate again, like the cabbage, and we're going to do that. Shred it. I'm gonna shred it. We're gonna shred it. So you get it grinded down a bit. You could add just a tad bit more. I'm struggling a bit with this. There we go. You could add just a tad bit more of the lime juice. Yeah, be careful. Habanero peppers are really strong. Yeah, I can feel that. Oh god. Okay. Ooh. There we go. And there you have it. Fresh little jar of homemade Pikliz. That's all, folks. Thanks for watching.